What's going on, guys? Jay the Black here. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. I'm making this video because there are a lot of people who are kind of confused as to what happened to actor Malcolm-Jamal Warner. This news broke just maybe 20, 30 minutes ago. From what I saw, apparently actor Malcolm-Jamal Warner lost his life. He was on vacation with his family. I believe they were in Costa Rica. And apparently he ended up in the water and he got swept up in a current and died from asphyxia. That is the latest update. And the reason why I'm making this video is because there are a lot of people who are confused as to what's going on. And I'm making this video to sort of cut through the confusion, right? Because I too was wondering how this accidental drowning, that's what we're seeing. We're seeing reports of an accidental drowning. Okay. Now, that is what made me go and look up what was going on and to see how it could have occurred. And that is the update that I had seen. As a matter of fact, I posted it on my Twitter, and I also posted it on my my Twitter and my YouTube community tab. I posted it to both of those places so that people can see what's going on, because a lot of this stuff is breaking. So let's get into this story. That is the update I just spoke on. So let's get into the original article. The Cosby Show alum Malcolm-Jamal Warner has died in Costa Rica at the age of 54, TMZ has learned. TMZ is a reliable source on the matter, according to them. As you know, Malcolm-Jamal Warner straight up owned the 80s as Theodore Huxtable on The Cosby Show, snagging an Emmy nod and locking in his spot in TV royalty. He kept the hustle going with sitcom fave Malcolm and Eddie, which was one of the shows I watched growing up. I really liked that show. Chemistry they have. Voiced one of the coolest cartoons, the Magic School Bus. Remember that as well. And even flexed his music chops with a Grammy win in 2015. So he's a multi-talented person. Most recently, he was hosting the podcast Not All Hood, and his latest episode dropped just 3 days ago. That is crazy. That is crazy. So sometimes you just never know when that's it. You know, he was still acting. He's still working. And this happens. It's unbelievable. Malcolm-Jamal leaves behind a wife and daughter. He chose not to publicly share their names, always keeping his family life private. And I think that people should appreciate him for who he is, and that is an update there, and what he contributed as a black man in America, because to me, he always seemed like a very mature man, very level-headed. Hollywood didn't take his soul. You see a lot of these people, man, Hollywood destroys them. Hollywood destroys them. But he was able to maintain his dignity and maintain his soul, and still was able to have a career in Hollywood. Not a lot of people can say that. Not a lot of people can say that they didn't do the absolute most in order to get opportunities. And that's one of the things I've always respected about him. I've always respected how he didn't have to go as far as others did. He didn't allow himself to get swept up in the lifestyle. Now you'll say, well, Jay, you don't know the person. You're right. But he's always been very consistent. You don't hear bad stories about him. You don't hear about anything salacious when it comes to him. Very consistent. And that's all you can look for is for someone to be consistent, and he's always been consistent. That's why he's been able to still have a career in Hollywood, even though he did not betray his morals and values in order to get that. Let's go over some of these credits, because he has a lot of credits over the years. We went over a few of them. Let's talk about Sliders. Let's talk about Tyson. Let's talk about Tuskegee Airmen. Let's talk about Static Shock. Let's talk about Jeremiah. You remember Jeremiah? Dexter, he was on the episode there. Fool's Gold. He was on Sons of Anarchy. He was on Community. I like Community. He was on Suits. Let's see. Sneaky Pete. He was on Sneaky Pete. He had a recurring, starring. Well, he was a part of the show. 911. And most recently, he was a part of The Resident and some other things as well. Also doing his podcast, and able to maintain a family while doing it. This is sad. On a lot of levels, this is sad. It really is. A man who's still in his prime, he's 54 years old, a wife and a daughter. I was on Twitter, and there was someone who brought up the fact that years ago, Malcolm was in a relationship with a fellow actor or actress by the name of Michelle Thomas. Michelle Thomas passed away in 1998. She was, I believe, a part of the Cosby Show as well at one point. She was also a part of Family Matters, right? And, I liked her on those shows, especially, with Family Matters, because she was the girl, pursuing Steve Urkel. It's, it's a lot of tragedy here. He dealt with this years ago as a young actor in Hollywood, only for his life to be cut short tragically. Also, someone brought that up, and I don't think the person was being malicious. I think there are people who didn't like that person brought that up. They felt like they were making light of this, but they were just paying tribute. People pay tributes in different ways. I didn't feel like it was disrespectful. You can always speak on things. You don't have to be somber all the time. You can have exuberance, but also you show respect, right? And this is a lot. It really is. So I just wanted to make this video to fill people in on what's going on, because this might be some misinformation or some confusion. So let me know in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on that video and share. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I'll see y'all next one.